Hey guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. So it has been 2 weeks since I've uploaded the last video, and it seems like ages because since the lockdown I haven't really been doing much apart from staying at home, spending time with the kids and working on my daughter's YouTube channel. So if you guys could go and subscribe, I'd be grateful for that. And yeah, hope you've all been keeping safe and well. What else have I been doing? Working on social media a bit more. So I am now on TikTok. If you want to add me on there, it's DJN Driving, and obviously Snapchat and Instagram, DJN Driving too. A few days ago I put up a post asking you guys if you had any questions, and I'd do a video answering those questions, and this is that video. I've had loads of comments on there, so I won't be able to answer all those comments and questions, but I will do, but not in this video, otherwise this video is going to be a few hours long. So I'll do about 20 minutes to half an hour, answer as many questions as I can, and then I'll do the rest in the following video. Okay, so I've got the questions here now. Let's go to the YouTube page. So I'm going to answer them all in order that they were asked. So the first one to ask is the first one that I'm going to answer. Yeah, so it's fair. So the first question from KC, it's not a name, it's just numbers. So, hey Pin, don't mean to sound negative. Do you think the real reason why people fail is that they just don't understand how the driving test really works? Really works? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Is it that they don't understand how the faults system works? But I think the main reason why people fail their driving test is obviously their standard of driving. So yeah, I do think a lot of people think it's a lot easier, and they don't really have to have a really high standard of driving, but yes you do. So yeah, the real reason why people fail, they're not fully prepared for the driving test, obviously. Okay, next question from Gagan Sholka. What made you get into YouTube? Please shout out my YouTube channel, thank you. Okay, what made me get into YouTube? So to be honest with you guys, it was when I first started YouTube, it was just to help with Google ranking for our website, DJN Driving. And then when I put my first video up of a driving test, not like the mock test that I do now, I just put it up there, didn't think much of it, and it got a few thousand views. And then after that, I uploaded another one. But really, you know, when I started uploading the ones with a mock test on there, like I do now in that format, I found those videos, the comments that I got, it was like, these videos are really helping you guys. So, you know, once I started seeing those comments, I just did more and more and more, and because that's what obviously the channel is about, just helping you guys with your driving test. So yeah, I started really taking it seriously about I think about 18 months ago. So yeah, so that's how I got into YouTube. Please shout out my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called Gagan Sholka. I think it's something to do with fitness. Okay, next one from Ryan Mohammed. Is there a certain way you must steer the steering wheel for the test? There is a comment there as well. Both hands must be on the wheel as often as possible, correct? So, you know, even if you do overlap your hands, it's not a driving fault. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. We do prefer the pull push method rather than you guys overlapping your hands, but even if you do overlap your hands, it's not a driving fault. Next question from Nilias. What to do if your anxiety takes over your driving? It's my 8th time going for my driver's license, and my anxiety never fails to disappoint me. Okay, loads of people commenting on this. Some really harsh people out there. Okay. Learn to control it. Even people with worse anxiety problem just got to learn how to control it. Anxiety, guys, to be honest, I'm no expert on this. Yeah, people do get quite nervous. I've had that with quite a few of my learners, where when it comes to the test day, their hands, their feet, everything, they're just shaking. So what I normally say, like I said, I'm no expert. What I normally say to all my learners is, look, what's the worst that can happen? You can fail your driving test, we just rebook it. But you've been for it 8 times now. The other thing you could do is just, the examiners out there, just don't think they're out there to fail you. Yes, the test centers that I use, all the examiners, they are really friendly, and so just think of the examiner as a friend and just as your instructor really. But sorry, I can't really help you much more on that anxiety question. Okay, next one from MUFC Highlights. Don't you think the British driving test is a bit harsh compared to other countries? I would say it's more challenging, but is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'd say it was a good thing. It's not just because I'm a driving instructor, but see, because the tests are of quite a high standard, the driving here in this country is going to be of better standard as well. So therefore, the accident rate is going to be a lot less than other countries as well. And I think, so we're not a massive country, and the population getting more and more. There's more people on the road, so the standard of driving must be higher. So yeah, driving in this country, the driving test is probably a bit more difficult compared to other countries, but personally I think it's a good thing. Okay, next one from Aman Hussein. How hard is it to move from a diesel to petrol after passing? Also, the car leant in didn't have a physical handbrake, so how hard will it be to get used to that? Okay, so you got two questions there. How hard is it to move from a diesel to a petrol? Depends how you've been taught to drive. So like you see me in the videos, I'm always saying use the gas to set off, not just the clutch on its own. So if you've been using just the clutch, it will take you a lot more time to get used to a petrol. So it all depends on that really. And the handbrake, so you're saying you didn't have a physical, it probably had an electric handbrake. It's not too hard. So on the electric one, you have a button to push. On this one, I've got the handbrake now. This is on, that's off, and on. Really don't know what else I could, how else I could answer that really. Okay, Luke Ransom asks, do you recommend driver refresher courses? And we'll reply to that, which is, he will just tell you to use the ultimate driving course. No, I won't. So driver refresher courses, obviously those are for people, say you've had your driving test, you passed your driving test, and you haven't bought a car and it's been a year, 2 years, and you've forgotten you want to freshen up. I would definitely recommend to them. Obviously it depends on each individual. If you don't feel that confident and you think you could do it with a couple of hours of refresher lessons, it doesn't have to be a whole full course. Why not? Okay, from Sandeep. Hi, I just want to know that is mock tests are free or instructor charge for it in England or Scotland? Okay, so when I do the mock test for YouTube, I don't charge people, because obviously they're allowing me to put their videos onto YouTube. But if you want to mock test with an instructor who's not putting these videos on YouTube, like I do as well with other people, they will charge. What are your tips for reverse parking? Tips for reverse parking. So obviously the technique you use, there's loads of different techniques you can use, and you just got to make sure the technique that you use you understand. So I try to keep my technique quite simple, and that is on the ultimate driving course. But other tips, so the main three things on all maneuvers that the examiners look for on the test are your accuracy, so how far you finish up from the pavement, your observations, so always looking around and obviously reacting to what you can see, and then it's the control of the vehicle, so keeping good control. So that's all I can say for reverse parking really. Okay, next question, actually that question was from Inna. This question from Arsalan Malik. What is the most funniest or best mock driving test video you've had? I believe it was Simranjit. Okay, yeah, probably that guy Simranjit, who came from he was from America, and he hadn't done much driving here. He was probably the funniest because he was talking a lot, and he actually made me laugh quite a bit. So That one's probably the funniest one, even though I've had quite a few other ones. Would you recommend the Pass Plus course? Yes, definitely, because obviously it's going to improve your driving. That was from NN. Next question from John Wick. That's a movie, isn't it? Okay, right. Hi, can you please add the clutch control when moving off, especially in uphill and roundabout? Thank you, stay safe. Can I please add the clutch control? What do you mean, add that to my videos on YouTube? You know, if you watch anybody looking for any help with a lesson on something, yeah. Like if you guys have been watching, I've been teaching my niece Taz from scratch, and we have done a lesson on all the topics, yeah. So if you go through Taz's lesson, you'll see them there. But if you want precise and more shorter videos to watch, then like always recommend the Ultimate Driving course. Okay, next question from Cloy's Life. Like, you get penalised for speeding in your test. Do you get minor fault points for going too slow? Yes, definitely. Yeah, you would. You have to show if the road's nice and clear, you're good enough to keep up to the correct speed limit. Yeah, because if you're driving too slow, you'll be holding up other traffic, and they'll try and overtake you, which is causing danger. Okay. Next one from Aaron Lee. Funniest person you've met doing the driving tests? Not necessarily driving wise funny, but personality. I think I've had loads. Yeah, I've had loads of people who've been really funny on mock tests. But I think, you know what, I think I'll do another video where I'll get you guys to participate as well with the funniest driving moments on driving lessons or driving tests. Yeah, I think that'll make a good video as well. Okay, next question from Jeanette. Can someone learn how to drive and pass the test within a month? Yes, that's possible. So obviously it depends on each individual, but I've had people that have started from scratch and passed after 15 hours of driving lessons. Some obviously will take longer, so it does depend on each individual. So, but it's definitely doable within a month. Next question from a believer. Do you ever get scared for your life? You know what? I don't now, because I'm so experienced and I kind of know what to expect. I'm always anticipating what's going to happen. So, and I know when to react. We have the pedals on our side. So, to be honest, I don't really be that scared at all now. When I first started, I'd say I was. Okay, next question from Julia Moscow. How many hours of driving lessons would you say on average you need to be ready for a driving test? Again, look, it just depends on each individual, but I'd say most of my students do have between 25 and 35 hours. Okay, and it all depends on how quickly you not quickly, how close together you take these lessons. Like my niece Taz, we've just been sticking to that one lesson a week, and I think she's done it between about 28-29 hours. But obviously a test got postponed because of the current situation. Next one, again from Julia. Are mock tests a lot harsher than the real driving tests? I think the way I mark the mock tests, yes. I think I look for every single little fault. I do be a bit harsh, because you know these faults, they've actually happened to my learners when they've gone on the test. So everything I explain in the videos is something that I've experienced happening to my learners when they've been for their driving test. So even though some examiners might let you off with, like for example, you know, when I say the mirror checks when moving off your side mirrors and that, I won't on a mock test, because I want all my learners to make no mistakes and pass their driving test. Okay, next question from Alicia. How much do you charge? You're an amazing instructor, by the way. So for the mock test, like I said, don't charge anything. For driving lessons, it can be like it depends. So our normal standard rate around it is about £25 an hour. That's how much I charge. Okay, next question from Cam H. Do you think driving tests will be easy to pass when they start operating again due to the high demand of people wanting a test? Okay, so I think what Cam here means is that, yeah, when everything's back up and running again, yeah, there is going to be a lot of demand for everyone's going to want to go for their test because they've been waiting so long. But I don't think the driving examiner is just going to be passing people because of that. Yeah, obviously what they're going to be assessing is your standard of driving, so that's not going to have any effect on people passing, because even if you don't pass, obviously you just have to rebook it again, so it's not really going to affect the DVSA, is it? Okay, next question from Dominic Roden. After passing your test, is there any recommendation of cars, what to look out for when buying your first car? Again, I'm no expert, but what I would say is anything that's cheap to insure. Normally, something with a 1 litre engine, 1.2 litre, is going to be a lot cheaper to insure than a 1.5 or 1.6 litre. So something small, and just get insurance quotes, and they will depend on things like where you live and your age and that. So yeah, like I said, no expert, but small car, could be anything really, just get quotes. Okay, next question from Janet. When do you think we can start taking driving lessons again and driving tests? After things being postponed for 3 months, I booked for June as it was the next available date, but it said that's been postponed too. You know what? It was the same with my niece Taz. So she had it postponed and booked for June. Now it's been changed to July. So even though there's been no official confirmation from the DVSA or anyone, personally I think it's going to be towards the end of June, start of July, when driving tests resume. But like I said, that's just my opinion, just because the driving tests have been moved to July now from June. So you see, even the DVSA, nobody knows how long this lockdown is going to last. So like I said, that's just me taking a guess. Next question from Robbie Effa. At a major roundabout, should you go when the car next to you goes, even if you're not sure, or should you ensure that you can look for oncoming vehicles? Don't just go when the car next to you goes, yeah? Make sure you've got a good view, unless there's a big long lorry, yeah, next to you. Then I normally say to my learners, okay, you can use that, because the lorry will be moving off slow and it's a large vehicle. But if other cars, if there's a car next to you, you'll find that other cars, even vans, will move off a lot quicker than you. So don't use them. Make sure you can see for yourself. Okay, next question from Magica. If there are 2 roundabouts and you're told to go straight over the first and go right to the second, should I go off the first into the right hand lane or left hand lane and move over safely when I'm closer? Roundabouts are a fair distance apart. If they're a fair distance apart, you can just stick to the left lane. So you're going straight over the first roundabout and right to the second. So you can stick to the left lane, go straight over, and then change lanes on the approach to the second roundabout, if they're quite far apart. But if you even if you did it the other way, so you can, if the markings on the first roundabout allow you to use the right hand lane to go straight ahead, then use that, because you know you're going right to the second roundabout as well. So you can do that. Again, it depends on the layout of the roundabout. So because on some roundabouts, the right hand lane you can't use for straight ahead, but some roundabouts you can. So you got to watch out for that. Okay, next one from Ali. Switzerland has changed the law in 2011, I think. Now, if you do the test in an automatic, you're automatically allowed to drive manual. I just don't get why, since they're 2 different things. What do you think about this new law? I'm not sure, is that, but there's some comments on there. Is that true? Nah. Personally, I don't know much about Switzerland, but that'd be very strange if you're allowed to pass your test in an automatic and drive a manual as well, because they're two totally different things, and manual is obviously a lot more complicated than automatic. Okay, so next one from KJOJ. When stopping at traffic lights, do you think it's better to press the brake or pull up the handbrake? So it depends how long you're waiting for. If you're waiting for a while, I normally get my learners to use the handbrake so they can get their feet ready to move off. If you're driving an automatic, people normally keep their foot on the brake. Next, from Brad, is it true that driving test centres are only allowed to pass a certain amount of people a day? I have heard this a lot, yeah. But me personally, I think no. Yeah, firstly, that'd be kind of illegal. Yeah, to only pass a certain amount of people, and I've never ever experienced that with any of my learners. I think just the once in the 11 years that I've been teaching now, I felt one of my learners, when they failed, I thought he was a bit harsh because she fell just for slowing down a little bit at a roundabout, yeah. And the roundabout was clear, and the examiner said she shouldn't have slowed down, and he failed for that. I thought that was a bit harsh, but other than that, I've always agreed with the examiners when they have failed the learner for something. The other thing, I normally have the cameras on as well, so I can always watch back and just look at what happened if the learner's saying they didn't do it. But I found the examiners have always been right. Okay, next question from your average guy. Does the ultimate driving course really work? If I purchase it, would I still need a driving instructor? Okay, right guys, so the ultimate driving course, let me just tell you the reason why, the reason and idea behind making the ultimate driving course, yeah. So for the last few years, as well as teaching learners, I've been training driving instructors. So I'll sit at the back and watch a lesson of a driving instructor who needs training. So I'd be listening to the instructor. You know, when the instructors first teach you a topic, say for example roundabouts, they'll be giving you a talk through roundabouts and what they are, how to deal with them. And a lot of the time I felt some instructors would just go on for too long, or some wouldn't really make sense. So that's where the idea from the ultimate driving course came. I thought if the learner could watch the video, know exactly what to do, and then get in the car, it'll just save the instructor's time and the learners will have the correct knowledge. So that's how it works. And you're asking, if I purchase it, would I still need a driving instructor? Yes. Or if you've got a family member, you can learn with a family member as well, but you obviously will need to still learn practically, yeah, one way or another. Those of you can't just watch the videos and think you can go for a driving test. They're there to help you. They'll definitely help you, yeah, learn quicker, but you still need to obviously be driving the car practically, yeah. Okay, next one from SXNGH. How would you advise someone to overcome their nerves or anxiety before learning how to drive? Okay, so before learning how to drive, again, no expert on anxiety or nerves. Before learning how to drive, going out with a family member, just sitting as a passenger and just getting used to stuff. Just talk to someone, talk to a family member about your anxiety, your nerves, and why you're nervous, and just sit in the car with them. When you're going out for a drive, just ask them to talk you through stuff. That might help. But like I said, I'm no expert at that. Okay, next one from Bacon Hair Squad. What was the most amount of serious driving faults ever in your videos? I think it was wasn't he that Simranjit guy who was from America? He made loads. I'm sure it was him. I think it was about 20 something, I think. Yeah, I'm sure it was 21. Somebody made 21. I think it was him or someone else. 21 serious faults. Okay, at a roundabout, particularly on smaller ones, not many, where the first exit is straight ahead, are you supposed to signal on approach or as you have entered the roundabout? So any roundabout, if you're going straight ahead, you don't need to signal on approach. You only signal when you're about to exit. So as soon as you pass the exit before yours, just signal left. Okay. Right, next one from Enigma. What was your first car after you passed your test? My first car, to be honest, I went, like, as soon as I passed my test, I went straight into the family business, and I was driving a van for the first few years. So yeah, it wasn't a car, it was a van. So my first car was a van. Okay, next one from Prayer Mystery. Working on my theory, what's the best advice you can give me to passing third time? Is it true that test centres only pass a certain number of people? With your theory, So you know, a certain number of people, obviously with the theory it's going to depend on your results. A certain number of people, the passing, that's not true. Best piece of advice I'll give you for your theory is obviously revise. Don't be like a lot of people, leave it last minute, especially now. Everyone's got a lot of time on their hands. Just practice, because obviously as soon as the lockdown's over, you're gonna want to book your theory and go for it straight away. And a lot of people leave it just a day or two beforehand to revise, which I don't recommend at all. Yeah. And the other thing is a good theory app to revise from. I've seen this question before as well, so I'll just answer it now. The one that I normally recommend to all my learners is from Driving Test Success, because I've personally used that as well, and I recommend that to all my learners, and everyone seems to always get good results. And that's a good, reliable app, and there's a company who always updates the apps regularly. Okay, right, next question from AB. How do you move off very slowly with full control? Just with the clutch. Yeah, so don't bring the clutch up all the way, and obviously when I say just with the clutch, you're going to use some acceleration with it, yeah, but keep the clutch just above the biting point, and if the car's moving too quick, dip it down a bit. Okay, what are the differences between petrol and diesel? So differences, what do you mean between driving? So the main difference is, it's like with the diesel cars, I think they're a bit more easier on the clutch, yeah, so less chance of stalling, so you can bring the clutch up all the way without the vehicle stalling. You can do that in petrol ones, but petrol vehicles seem to be a lot more sensitive on the clutch and stall a bit more. Okay, next question from Lightning Farron. I have two weird questions. Okay, do you play video games, and what is your favorite movie if you watch any? Okay, right, so video games, don't really play much, but since the lockdown I have been playing a lot of FIFA with my daughter, so that's the only game I really play on the PlayStation, yeah, FIFA. And what is your favorite movie if you watch any? Yes, I watch a movie every weekend with my daughter, and I've got to say one of my favorite movies at the moment is Hunger Games. Don't know if any of you heard of that. I love those movies. Okay, next question from Tasnim Begum. I had to send my test certificate to get my actual driving license, as I didn't give it to the examiner to send it off. My license has come through, but they haven't sent my certificate back. It's been over a month. Is it necessary or important for me to still have my test certificate even though I already have my license? Can someone help me out, please? You know, you don't need your certificate now. That certificate is just proof that you've passed. Yeah, you need that certificate to get your license. So you don't worry about the certificate at all. Yeah, you're not supposed to have that anyway. The main thing is you got your license, and that's it. Okay, another one from Ralphster. What cars do you recommend for starter drivers? Again, like I mentioned earlier, anything small, 1 litre, 1.2, just anything that's going to be cheap on insurance. Get quotes, because like I said, it depends on different things, where you live, your age and that, yeah. Okay. Right, another one from Paul Lay. What advice do you give for any drivers, whether they are newly passed, recently fresh students, or for the people that have a long time of experience who are anxious on their general driving abilities? Again, I think you got to find out what makes you anxious. So people might be anxious about different things. A lot of people say it's like when I'll be out and the road's really busy. One thing I did do before with someone who was really anxious, we swapped seats and we went to the busiest roads. She hated going near lorries, so I drove near lorries, and I think that just got her used to, and that helped. But like I said, I'm no real expert with people who are getting who are really anxious, and with that, it does depend on each individual and what they're anxious about. Okay. Another question from Adam. Is Sid's blue Mercedes automatic or manual? Okay, Sid's one of the instructors for DGen, really good instructor. His Mercedes is a manual. Okay, another question from Minion NA. Some of these YouTube names are quite funny. I'm looking for insurance but they are so darn expensive. How can I get cheap insurance for the first time driver? Again, no insurance expert, but it is like it is hard for someone who just recently passed. The insurance does be quite high, yeah. To be honest, a few companies have contacted me, and I will look more into this. As you guys can see, you know, with the channel, obviously it's grown so much. We get so many views. I get a lot of companies contacting me to promote their content or promote their insurance or whatever, yeah. But for me, like I said, this channel is all about helping you guys. I'm not going to just put something on there just because someone's going to pay me something. It's got to be something that's it's going to be right. So if anything I promote on my channel, it'll be because I believe it's good. Otherwise I won't. But insurance, I think I will look into it now, you know, because I've had so many companies contact me. I'll ask them a few questions. I'll see which one comes out the best, and then obviously there's someone I can recommend, really. Okay, next question from Will. When do you insure your first car? Do you do it as soon as you've bought it so you can drive it home? Yeah, you need insurance to drive. So if you buy a car, if you want to drive it, you have to insure it straight away. Okay, next question from Ruffle Waffles, sorry. When moving off, which approach is better? Find the biting point, then set the gas, or set the gas, then find the biting point? Okay, normally we teach set the gas and then find the biting point, but even if you do get the biting point first and set the gas, it's not going to make a massive difference, to be honest. Whatever you find easier. Okay. What's your favorite driving lesson topic and why? I'd say the maneuvers, to be honest, because I find the maneuvers quite easy to teach, and there's no way you guys are gonna drive into other traffic and that, so there's less danger as well, yeah. Okay, so that was from Lewis Heath Plays. The next one from Rebecca M. Would you recommend doing the Pass Plus scheme once passing your test? I've passed mine, but have never driven in the dark or on motorways, both of which are covered in the scheme. Also, I've heard it lowers insurance down. Yes, like I said before, Pass Plus, I would recommend it to you guys, especially for those of you who aren't still feeling 100% about motorways and driving in the dark, like you just said there, Rebecca. Insurance, it does help with insurance, but not all companies accept it. So if you're doing it just for insurance, you need to find out if the company that you're going to get insured with accepts the Pass Plus certificate. Next one from Sarah Smith. Hi Pin, you're such an inspiration. I was going to take my test, however the current circumstances have caused it to be postponed. My question is, what is your opinion on crash driving courses? Either ones that are 1 day of 6 hours. Are they effective or a short-term fix? Okay, crash courses, or intensive courses as a lot of people call them, personally it's not something I'm a big fan of. I have done a few in the past, but I always assess the learner first. So I'd given an hour assessment, and then I check if they have the ability to handle doing like 2 or 3 hours a day. I wouldn't do more than 2 to 3 hours anyway in one day. Just doing what, there's no way you can like keep focus for longer than that. So the crash courses that I've done in the past, I've just done 2 hours on a day, and that's it, no more than that. So I just don't think you can just pick up all the skills in like 6 hours non-stop driving. Don't get me wrong, it might work for some individuals, but like a lot of companies just they won't assess your driving. They'll just offer the same like course for everyone, and people pay like sky high prices for a crash course. And the main thing is, I think you got to understand who are you taking the crash course with. A lot of companies will just take your money and then try and like pass you on to instructors that they don't even know. Like I get a lot of companies contacting me and other instructors saying, would you want to take on this crash course we've just secured the payment for? And so they just pass you on, and you don't even know what instructor you're going to get. So with anything, crash course, normal driving lessons, find out what's the instructor like, what's the company like, who are you going to have these lessons with, because obviously that's what's going to help you pass. Okay, next one, so from, I can't even read it, SatNav. Okay, what is your view on sky high insurance prices for young drivers from 17 to 25 years old? I think it's crazy. My insurance is 2.2k. Quick edit, stay safe. Yeah, like I said, I do feel for you guys. Yeah, that much money, it's really hard to afford. Yeah, you're paying over £2,000 a year. Hopefully, obviously, it will come down year by year, but like I said, it's something that no one can do anything about, really. Next question from My World: any advice on using SatNav navigation? I failed 2 times because of SatNav. Yeah, on the SatNav, just like I said, anything you're weak on, yeah, ask your instructor to explain it properly. Again, watch the lesson that I gave Taz on the SatNav. Just make sure you understand the distances and just know exactly what everything means on the SatNav and just how to follow it, really. So yeah, like I said, with these, just watch the videos. That'll help you a lot more rather than me just telling you stuff here. Okay, another question from Bailey Wallace, which we've had before. What are some good first cars? So we've just mentioned that earlier. Another one from Sukhdeep Shoka: assuming you were test standard before lessons became cancelled, how long do you think it would take to bring you back to test standard? Is there anything you would recommend to practice, revise without access to a vehicle? Having a couple of months off, I don't think it's going to affect your driving massively, but you're right in that you should be doing something at home to keep up with your skills, and so you don't forget everything. So just like with every topic, just watching like videos on, like, obviously we've got loads of videos on our channel, but even other driving school channels, just on like I think the driving lessons with my niece, they should help you guys just refresh on everything. And like always recommend to everyone, the ultimate driving course. I think now is a good time. If anyone's downloaded it before, use it, watch the videos, just make sure you've got the correct knowledge, so when you go back you're ready to go. Okay, next question from Vintage Triple X: did any of your learners make a dangerous fall that was so dangerous that you could have got killed or severely injured, or that could have injured or killed someone? If so, how did you react to that? Did you stop the lesson or did you continue? I've never stopped a lesson, because look, with the, obviously learners will make these faults, but it's down to the instructor, because it's our responsibility. We've got to make sure we're anticipating and we're ready to react. So we can't really blame the learner, because they're learners. You guys are learning how to drive. You guys make a mistake, we've got to be ready as instructors. We should be expecting these mistakes to happen. So yeah, it's like faults like changing lanes when there's a vehicle next to you. That one's always going to cause an accident. So before we ask you guys to change lanes, we always check in and we're anticipating you guys doing it too early or too late. So stuff like that. Entering a roundabout when there's a vehicle coming, obviously we use our controls. I think one fault that we can't do much about, which is the only one that kind of gets me to like a bit like, oh, is when we're turning right at a crossroad in front of oncoming traffic, and there's a safe gap, there's a vehicle coming but the vehicle's far away, and the learner moves. So they'll move because there's a safe gap, which is fine, but they'll move really slowly, yeah, and the vehicle in front is coming at speed and it's catching up, getting quite close, and we're like, because we haven't got a gas pedal on that side and we can't press the brake at that point because we're already in the vehicle's path, so we're like, more gas, more gas, more gas. I think that's probably the fault that probably scares me the most. Okay, so we'll do I think 3 or 4 more questions. Next one from Dan Jones: do you agree that those who passed 20+ years ago should have to renew their license by taking another driving test? Most of the worst drivers, in my opinion, are those who haven't passed under recent tougher examinations. I think you're right in the fact that, you know, people who passed years ago, yeah, obviously the test was easier, and if they had the test today, they may not necessarily pass, yeah. But I don't agree that they should have to renew their license by taking another driving test, because I don't think that would be fair. Because, and plus, I don't think the DVSA could handle that much amount of people taking the test again and again. So I think there should be some kind of maybe assessments. They should be taking assessments from driving instructors every, I don't know, 10 years or something, a couple of hours, which should help, but not the test again. Okay, next question from Pablo Excel. My test was cancelled on the 1st of April and rebooked for June the 31st. Is it worth going on a cancellation app for an earlier date? Not at the moment, because even if you get an earlier date than June the 31st, there's no guarantee it's going to go ahead, is there? Because of what's going on. So I just wait until everything's up and running. And June the 31st, like I said, I personally think it's going to be around then where everything's back up and running with the driving test. Okay, next question from Belkis Bakir. How do you signal on a 5 exit roundabout? Okay, how do you signal on a 5 exit roundabout? So it all depends on which way you're going. So when you're approaching the roundabout, if you're turning right, you signal right on approach. If you're turning left, first exit, you signal left on approach. If you're going straight ahead, you don't signal on approach. Okay, so that's the only way I can answer that question at the moment. Okay, next question from Edward Hilston. My driving instructor is teaching me to just move off with the clutch, but I am aware that it is best practice to use clutch and gas. What should I do about this? Tell him or ask him, just say why you're not asking me to use the gas with it when I should be using the gas. See what he says. But that's all you can do about it. So don't be afraid to, like, if you think some instructors are teaching you something that they shouldn't, just ask them and ask them to justify why. So yeah. Okay, best and worst moment as an instructor. I'll make this the last question now, yeah. So best and worst, this is from Kurt Hawley. Best and worst moment as an instructor. I can imagine you have some funny ones. Okay, loads of funny ones. I think for the funny ones we'll do a separate video. But best is easy when someone passes. Yeah, it's, I think that's the best part of the job, when someone passed their driving test and they're just so happy that they've passed, which is, like I said, it's one of the best feelings for me. And the worst moment is when someone's failed and we're driving back home, and yeah, that's probably the worst part. Someone's failed their driving test and we're driving back, especially the ones that get really upset. That it makes me feel even worse. So yeah, those are the best and worst moments. Okay, so I think we'll leave you at that for today's video, and we'll continue with the rest of the questions in the next video, which I'll do very soon. And yeah, so any more questions, the post is still on the communities tab on YouTube, so get your questions in and I will get through all the questions. So guys, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.